Despicable Me 4 is the fourth movie in the Despicable Me franchise, but it is also the sixth film in the Despicable Me brand as a whole. When reviewing a movie like this, you have to realise that it is firstly a kids' movie made to entertain children and make buckets of money from toy sales. Despicable Me 4 manages not to screw up the franchise to the point of no return, while course correcting on the lowest of lows from Despicable Me 3. Yes, I detest that movie. It is the worst Despicable Me movie, and I hate it. The third battle is so generic. Balthazar Brat is only an intriguing villain in the first 10 minutes. Other than that, he does nothing in the movie. Lucy and the girls are sidelined. There is nothing here for them. The minions go on strike. This is the shortest amount of time the minions have in a Despicable Me movie. They're only in it for 5 minutes. They don't do anything for the final battle. I hate Despicable Me 3, need I say more. Despicable Me 4 doesn't do anything groundbreaking for the franchise, but I believe it takes the logical next step in the character development for Gru and Gru's family. This third sequel serves his character development and takes his character to the next level. You cannot argue that Gru hasn't seen a dramatic shift in character from the first movie, with him being a supervillain to now fully being a super dad. And with this being the fourth mainline film, plus a prequel, it really feels like we've watched Gru grow up and evolve. Gru is the main character here, and there's no way around that. It's different and fresh to see him out of his comfort zone, as the characters tell him, mainly Ramsbottom,
Bottom.
to lean into his more cheery Chet Cunningham persona. And it's fun seeing how he's able to adapt and adjust. It's also just extremely rewarding as a fan and long-time viewer of these movies to see him and Lucy have Gru Jr., because it shows how Gru has adapted this fatherly nature, and his relationship with Junior is so endearing and sweet. Things like Junior popping balloons in the car and Gru spilling his coffee everywhere. I'm a sucker for those kind of things, and it really builds the father-son bonding aspect, and pays off Gru Jr. saying Dada at the end of the film, because up until that point he has detested his father. And yes, while it's a cliche arc, it was still a really good one that I enjoyed. I will say, yet again though, that the girls are sidelined in this film way too much. Margot says she gets bullied, but does Gru do anything about it? Nah. I just know that if we were talking about Despicable Me 1 Gru, he would have burned down the school if he knew Margot was being bullied. I guess you could say that Gru was trying to not blow his cover, but then just give Margot a different character arc. What I would suggest is a story like this, where Gru Jr. is the centre of Gru's attention, like he is in the actual movie, and all the three girls feel sidelined by this little guy, and as a result, they try to each find their place in the family and prove their worth. So for Margot, I'd have her take on a more responsible role that involves her taking care of Gru Jr. and cooking breakfast for her parents, to try to show how mature she is to impress Gru and Lucy, and to show her worth in the family dynamic. As it is in the actual film, she has 8 lines, and she acts like a stroppy, rude teen who treats Gru like dirt when he's trying to socialise with the other neighbours. Instead of show not tell with Margot's bullying, Illumination tells and doesn't show. So it's hard for us to feel sympathy for Margot because we haven't seen the bullying in action. Edith was the most disappointing character in this film because she had so much potential and it was completely wasted. She also had like 10 lines in the film, and her characterization wasn't off, but she had no arc at all. The karate class was fun. It was fun to see the sister dynamic between her and Edith as they're closer in age, but it was only one scene. What I would have done with Edith is tie her karate into her trying to stay relevant in the family to compete for the love that Gru Jr. gets. This is where I'd use the heist arc they used for Poppy, but instead I'd have Edith wanting to pull the heist and have her lean into a more villainous path and maybe build a bigger relationship with her uncle Drew and have her be evil with him. Not only to have Drew in the film, but also to cause a dilemma between Edith and Gru and Drew and Gru. I'd ask questions like, does Gru want Edith to be a villain? What drove Edith down this villainous path? Things like that. So yes, for this film, I would have aged up Margot, Edith and Agnes, and instead of Poppy pulling the heist, I would have had a 12-year-old Edith pull the heist with Gru. Agnes was fine. She was the best out of all three sisters in this film. Her and Lucky are really sweet together, and the sit joke where Agnes tells Lucky to sit and he poos, it really tickled me. If you wanted an arc for her, I'd probably have her questioning what her place is now that she's not the youngest in the family anymore. But that's a pretty big concept if you've got, like, her as a 5-year-old, you know what I mean? Lucy does get sidelined in this film. I don't think it's as bad as it was in number 3, because I think, obviously, she's now the mama of Gru Jr. She has, like, a nice little hairdresser scene. She's pretty apart from Gru from the film, so I don't think it was as bad as she was in Despicable Me 3, but it still doesn't reach the heights of Lucy in Despicable Me 2. But she is still, like, her old quirky self that we all fell in love with, and she is getting to that stage of being that real definitive mum for Margot, Edith, and Agnes. And I love that Agnes always called Lucy mum in the film. Silas Ramsbottom coming out of retirement was a huge W for this movie. I was very happy to see him back. When the Minions opened the door, though, they did literally reuse audio from Despicable Me 2. They do the same and I was like, dude, that's reused audio from 10 years ago. Re-record the line. What are you doing? But anyway, Silas Ramsbottom in this film, he's good. Like, again, he's not a main character, so if he doesn't really do a lot, it doesn't really matter. He's just there for fan service. He's quite funny. When Maxine Lamal escapes, and Gru says, oh, that he's in the state prison, it'll be fine, he won't escape. Ramsbottom's like, he escaped this morning, and he was just so droll with the humour, that was funny. Him giving Gru a reality check, being like, you can't be your average Gru-y self. Come on now. Ramsbottom he just heightens the film. So I'm glad that they were like, yes, I've retired, but for Gru, I have come out of retirement. I'm here to protect that family. Also, I just love that he was the one to set up the Mega Minions program. I thought that was, like, really fantastic. Alright, so let's talk about the Minions in this film. Now, this movie was like, someone gave the Minions loads of crack. I'm not even joking. They were dialed up to 11. They were hyper in this movie. You know, like when you search for the background of Minions, I saw one Minion kissing, like, himself on his computer. It was so weird. Like, the Minions in the bus, they are crazy. They're just so hyper in this movie. And it's just so absurd. I feel like we've kind of driven away from what the Minions are. Them joining the Anti-Villain League to protect Gru, I thought that was good. I mean, obviously, they have a commitment to Gru. The Mega Minions now, no doubt about it, they were used for marketing. They're only in this film for 5 minutes. When they are in the film, it's really nice to see them. They are funny. But yeah, it's just like that Minion slapstick. They're in this a bit more than they are in Despicable Me 3. Still not majorly. I love that Gru has, like, 3 minions that just do his baby stuff for him. That was really funny. And I enjoyed all those 3 minions as well. I don't think Minions take away from this film. I think they enhance the film. If anything, I personally would have liked to see a bit more Minion in this film. I will say that I thoroughly enjoyed the heist scene. I mean, it was filler to have some sort of action in the movie. I think that time could have been utilised with Maxime. But, again, I just didn't like the character of Poppy. She made a boomer joke, which will outdate the film for years. And she was just very rude to Gru. And she really wasn't very likeable. Now, I know it's a new character. They made her to sell toys. But you could have given Edith Poppy's heist suit and then sold a toy based on that. Poppy had no connection to Gru. But let's now not keep beating around the bush. Let's talk about the villain, Maxime Lamal. Now, I'm going to say something controversial. He's not the worst Despicable Me villain. I think I enjoyed him a bit more than most people. That opening scene, right, when the film starts, until they, like, roll the title sequence, that is, like, peak movie. That, those first, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, those were brilliant. Those were amazing. Can I just say the animation in this movie is spectacular as well. The detail is pretty impeccable. Maxine being like this cockroach, it's wacky, it's weird, but I think that's what makes it memorable, and they were able to make it serious. It's the first time that a villain makes Gru draw blood in like a Despicable Me movie or like a kids film, where you get a close up like Gru's been cut and Gru's like scared. If they had honed in on that, if they had kept Maxime serious, like let's say Maxime was like a serious villain, they didn't make him comedic, and they just made him serious throughout the whole film. The rest of the film could have been comedic, but when Maxime was on the loose, the film could have taken a much more serious tone. Him being wronged by Gru for Karma Chameleon, that was really stupid, but at least he has a motive. How much so? What? What was that? My bad. At least he had a motive. You're doing like a Minions film, like you were doing prequels. Why not set him up? Because you knew you were going to make Despicable Me 4, so why not tease him in Rise of Gru? I don't know. Also, with the whole high school thing, in Minions Rise of Gru, he went to a normal high school, so I don't know what 9th grade is supposed to be, but they're saying that he went to this school and he was in 9th grade, so if that is like a teenager or whatever, that works. I guess he went to an evil school when he was a teenager. When Maxime kidnaps Gru Jr., that was crazy. That was frightening. Like, Gru Jr. screaming, and, like, Gru can't get to him. Like, that, and Maxime's saying, oh, he loves his new daddy. Like, that was frightening. That was sad. I didn't think a Despicable Me movie could do that. And then the final battle could have been something amazing. Like, Maxime's girlfriend, who was completely not needed in this film, she was, like, the audience. She was the person that Maxime was talking to. You know, like, giving like an information dump on why he hates Gru. That's all she was there for. Like, she crashed the beetle car thing. I don't know. If you didn't want the beetle car thing in the final fight, make it like, I don't know, Gru has like a gadget and he like busts one of the wings on the car. But like, when Gru's baby's revealed to be like turned into a cockroach, I was like, oh damn, that is wow. That's probably the worst the villain has ever done to like the hero. And the final battle could have been like, I still thought it was good. I enjoyed it much more than the Despicable Me 3 battle, because that just feels like processed studio rubbish. This was a lot more heartfelt, but I think it should have been more heartfelt. Like, when Gru Jr. is like, I don't know, about to kill his dad or whatever, and like, Gru's like, it's okay, Junior. Daddy loves you. I was like, dude, that's quite sad, man. Like, I was getting there. But I think Gru needed more of a monologue. Getting Gru to do, like, one punch, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I don't really have a problem with that. I think he was nerfed a bit, but I think it should have just been, like, the baby, like, absolutely eating him alive. It's quite similar to Jack Jack. That's my only criticism. And then the Mega Minions, this was so stupid, right? They appear out of nowhere, and, like, Maxime is already down for the count. That was stupid, I will admit. That was just ridiculous. I feel like, because Gru was never going to be like this superpowered cockroach, I think the Mega Minions should have turned up to help him, and then you could have had Gru do the final blow once the Mega Minions had been the absolute, you know, poo out of Maxime Lamal. Then Gru delivers the final blow. I think that would have been more effective. But as it is, it's still so much better than Despicable Me 3. That was just processed garbage. In conclusion, Despicable Me 4 is not the worst Despicable Me film. It's not the best Despicable Me film. It's somewhere in the middle. It's better than Minions and Despicable Me 3, but it doesn't reach the heights of Despicable Me 2. It's not that profound. It has some good ideas that aren't explored to the fullest extent, but it is surprisingly fun and just a good time at the movies. So Despicable Me 4 gets a thumbs up from me. I really enjoyed my time with it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.